President Obama is traveling out west this weekend, holding a series of town hall meetings in an effort to change the tone of the debate over health care reform. NBC's chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd is traveling with the president. He has the latest now from Big Sky, Montana. Chuck.
Good morning, Lester. The president is out west for a working vacation. Yesterday was town hall number 1. Today will be town hall number 2 in Grand Junction, Colorado. All of it is an attempt to recapture political momentum to pass health care reform.
President Obama came to the hills of Montana with his entire family in tow for what was billed as a town hall on health care, but at times felt more like a campaign rally.
Hello, Montana!
And President Obama was reminiscent of candidate Obama at times as he worked the audience.
So I need you to keep knocking on doors, talking to your neighbors, spread the facts.
The president did take questions from a mostly supportive audience, but not before offering his own media critique of how town halls have been covered this week.
TV loves a ruckus. What you haven't seen on TV, and what makes me proud, are the many constructive meetings going on all over the country.
Mindful of Tuesday's relatively tame New Hampshire town hall, the president avoided calling on anyone who could easily be viewed as a supporter. So he found Randy Rathie, who was wearing a National Rifle Association shirt.
And we keep getting the bull. That's all we get is bull. You can't tell us how you're going to pay for this.
You are absolutely right that I can't cover another 46 million people for free.
The president went on to reiterate his pledge not to raise taxes on families making $250,000 or less, but also said the wealthy would have to pay more.
That's what I said. But I said that for people like myself who make more than that, there's nothing wrong with me paying a little bit more in order to help people who got a little bit less.
After the town hall, Rathie, a McCain voter who drove 300 miles across the state to be here, said he wasn't convinced the president could fulfill his promise.
I want him and Max Baucus and those people to say, here's where the money is. And I'm afraid where it's coming from is out of us taxpayers' pockets again.
This town hall was held in an airplane hangar, easily secured from the public. And while the requisite protesters were gathered about a half-mile away, the demonstration never got out of hand. Back at the town hall, Mr. Obama was also challenged by a man who sells individual health insurance.
Why is it that you've changed your strategy from talking about health care reform to health insurance reform and decided to vilify the insurance companies?
Okay, that's a fair question. My intent is not to vilify insurance companies, right? What I've said is let's work with the existing system.
There may have been 1,200 people in that town hall audience in Montana, but there was an audience of one for the president. Max Baucus, the senior senator out here, he's chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. The president made numerous references to him yesterday, almost as if trying to praise him and trying to keep him motivated to write a bill that somehow can get out of the Senate. By the way, the vacation part, he went fishing yesterday, fly fishing. It may have been the first time the president did that. Today, the entire Obama family will tour Yellowstone Park and get a glimpse of Old Faithful. Lester?
Chuck Todd in Big Sky. And now here's Amy.
Lester, thank you. Joe Scarborough is the host of Morning Joe on MSNBC. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
As Chuck mentioned, we just saw that Obama was greeted by a fairly warm crowd this time around. He did have to answer a few tough questions. How do you think he handled it?
I thought he did well. And if I were President Obama, I'd go to the key Democratic states where you've got the Democratic senators. I'd go to Missouri where Claire McCaskill is. I'd go down to Louisiana with Mary Landrieu. I would go to these. I'd go to Nebraska with Ben Nelson and have these crowds and find the guy with the NRA jacket on and call on him first, because that was the best part of the town hall meeting. That New Hampshire town hall meeting where it was a love fest, we didn't pick that up because the president does get one thing right. We in news love conflict. And so we want people asking him tough questions, and he can handle those tough questions better than any politician on the national stage right now.
And he did make a few references, as you just said, to the media, saying that we love a ruckus. And I think we can all admit that that does make good television. But is it fair for him to say that we overplayed it?
No more than it's fair to say that soldiers and Marines have been complaining for 8 years that we'll show a picture of a school being blown up, but we'll never show the school being built. Ask George W. Bush or Bill Clinton whether we seize on conflict and run it in loop. That's what the news media has always done, And the president understands that. I hope he doesn't believe it, because if he believes that this is the news media's fault, that's sort of Nixonian, and he's not looking at his own polls. He's lost 15 percentage points in his overall approval rating over the past couple months. He's upside down on health care. His bigger problem, though, goes beyond health care. Americans are concerned about deficits. They're concerned about the expanding size of the federal government. So this is going to follow him on any program, even beyond this year, on health care. He's going to have to show he can pay for it.
And we know that the purpose right now of this 4-state tour, other than having some time with his family, fly fishing, visiting Yellowstone, is to show the president front and center on this health care reform plan. Do you think that he can be successful in getting the public on his side after all we've seen this week?
Again, I think the key are those 5 or 6 Democratic senators. I'd even go to Maine with the 2 Republicans where I could steal their votes. Hold town hall meetings there. And I've been critical of the president being overexposed. In this case, I would hold the town hall meeting with him as much as possible, make him as boring as possible, and have the contrast between all the screaming and the yelling. You know, we've got extremes on both sides that are being so reckless and irresponsible, conservatives and liberals. And the president has a great opportunity here, among the chaos, to show that he can rise above that. And I think he does that visually with one town hall meeting after another.
So he shouldn't go hang out with Arlen Specter?
Yes, he should hang out with Arlen Specter, but this is just me, the political strategist, talking. Be a little more careful with the people that you let in there, and but again, answer those tough questions. People will yell, and I know, as a former congressman, people will scream and yell at congressmen and senators in a way they won't to a president. The president has a great opportunity here, if everybody will stop being so defensive on the Democratic side, to rise above the ruckus, as he calls it, and look like a leader, look like the statesman that people elected him to be. That would be my advice.
Joe Scarborough, thanks so much.